DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Then we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one framework, one book, one masterclass. It's daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. On today's topic, I'm going to give you a simple framework for promoting your stuff, for letting people know about what it is that you're doing, letting people know everything they need to know about getting the thing that you're offering, whether that means going and liking your picture, going and buying your course, signing up for your program, following you on some platform, whatever it happens to be. This is just a simple framework here for getting it out there. Now, since we know that you have game, because this is a show called Work on Your Game, and you are subscribed to the show, right? And you're listening to the show on a consistent basis, right? I know, by the way, anything that I say here today that really lands and resonates with you, I want you to text me, tell me the best thing that you got from today's episode. Just mention the number and tell me what was the best thing you got from it. The number 305-384-6894. Again, 305-384-6894. Send me a text and text me and let me know. Back to my point. Since you have game and value that you want to share with the world, today I'm just giving you a simple process for getting it out there, making sure that people know about it, and for the sake of brevity, like we talked about not too long ago, in making sure that you're being tight with your message, being tight in the way that you deliver your message, letting people know about your message. Just a few weeks ago, we talked about brevity in episode 1738, the skill of making your point without talking too much. And it's important that you are able to do so because with the primacy and the recency effect, often people forget what you say to them. Like, for example, you listen to an episode of this show, even if it's only 20 minutes long, you're not going to remember everything that I said in this episode, which is why I suggested you take notes, which is why we give you show notes so we can give you the overall points of what we're giving you here, and was why you should save these episodes and listen to them more than once. So because the second and third and eighth time you listen to an episode, you are going to hear things that you did not hear the first time through, simply because you might hear me say something 1 minute in and your mind is kind of thinking about that thing, and I say something at 1 minute 30 seconds in, your mind's still thinking about the first thing and it completely missed the other thing. So that's why you read things and listen to things and take things in more than once, because you catch new things every time that you go through it. So your favorite books, your favorite courses, your favorite audio shows, your favorite videos, you should be consuming those things more than once, because you will pick up new things. And the reason why I'm talking about all of that here today with this simple framework is I want you to be really tight in being able to explain what it is that you're doing and what significance it will have to other people, so that they can get it in a bite-sized enough portion that they understand it all, and then they are actually compelled to take action without their brain being cluttered with too much other stuff that you're saying, because again, you're understanding this concept of brevity like we talked about in episode 1738. So let's get into this. The topic, once again, is simple framework for promoting and just letting people know about your stuff. Just letting them know that it exists. Number one, first thing you gotta let people know is what it is. When you're telling somebody about something that they might want to get from you, very simply you need to tell them what it is. Why does your product or your offer or your whatever that thing happens to be, your profile, your platform, your bio, your whatever, why does it matter? What is its use? What is its functionality? What function is it performing out in the world that would get somebody's attention? So for example, if I say something like, I wrote a book called The Mirror of Motivation, and it is about you getting the self-guide, the self-discipline, getting your being down so that you can do what you need to do, so you can have what you want to have in life. All right, that is me letting you know what it is. Simple as that. Or somebody saying, well, I have this thing and it's called a smartphone. And what it does is it combines an MP3 player and a computer and a phone and a whole bunch of other things all in one device that fits in your pocket. Telling people what something is does not need to be any more complicated than the examples that I just gave. What it is that simple. I have this thing and it blank. Now understand something. You probably don't want to put too many commas in that. You don't need to put too many slashes in that, and you don't want to have any run-on sentences. You want it to be simple and concise enough that people can understand it. Remember, always keep it in mind, when you're keeping things simple, you want people to be able to follow you. And you know much more about your offering than anybody else does. You're on the inside, you created it, you know everything about it. A couple things you should keep in mind. People don't need to know everything about your product. They just need to know enough that's going to compel them to action. Whatever the next action is. The next action might not even be buying it and consuming it. The next action might be just listening to the next thing that you have to say. The next action might be just subscribing to your email list for free. The next action might be going to the webpage and just looking at it so that you can give them more information. So whatever is the next step in the process, that's how much you need to let them know. Let them know enough to move to the next step. And again, you don't have to give them the full meal right there as soon as you meet them. It's just like if you meet a person and you think they're cute in the mall, that doesn't mean you go propose to them right there on the spot. You maybe say hello to them. Maybe that's the first step. And the next step is a little bit further conversation, then a little bit further, then maybe you go meet for coffee, then maybe you go on a date. And then later on, you can have kids and grow old and prosper and die together. But you don't try to do it all in one shot. It's the same thing here. First, just let people know what it is. Keep it simple so people can follow you to the next step. Now let's move on to the next step. Point number 2. The topic once again today is a simple framework for promoting and letting people know about your stuff. Number 2, let people know who you are and why you are qualified to be offering what you're offering. Why are you qualified to even be speaking about what you're speaking about? And understand something with this, why you're qualified does not necessarily mean you have to lay out, again, all of your credentials, your whole resume, how many degrees you have, how many certifications you have acquired. Generally speaking, and this is something that I tell entrepreneurs and budding experts all the time, for the most part, people don't really care about any of that shit. You know who cares about your certifications and your degrees and you did this thing and that thing? You know who really cares about that? Other people who are doing the exact same thing. The people who are actually consuming from you, they don't really care about that shit. As they say in sales, people make decisions with emotion and they justify with logic. So those things are like the logical things that allow people to feel comfortable, maybe, with the decision that they made to get involved with you. But that is not the thing that actually gets their attention. What gets their attention is what you can do for them. All right, your certification doesn't do a damn thing for me. So I don't really care about your certification. I may leverage the fact that you have a certification to make myself feel better about my decision of hiring you. But the fact that you have a certification is not what makes me say, oh, this person must be great because they got a certification. I don't give a damn about your certification. Any of you ever seen someone or known someone who hired a lawyer and the lawyer just completely fumbled the case? Does it matter that that lawyer went to UM law school and they passed this bar and they have this award and that award and they've been featured in this magazine? No, because you bumbled my case and I ended up losing a lawsuit or having to go and get incarcerated for 6 months. I don't give a damn what certifications you got. None of those things matter. What I care about is what you can do for me. So here on point number 2, when you are talking about yourself, who you are, why you're qualified to talk about or offer what you're talking about or offering, tell them that. Why are you qualified to speak about this thing? So, going back to our original example, if I say, I have this book, it's called The Mirror of Motivation. It is the self-guide to self-discipline. Next thing I'm going to tell you is who I am, why I'm qualified to talk about. I'm not going to tell you everything about me. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. Again, this is me reading the room based on my audience, what I think they need to know to understand why I'm talking about this thing. So for example, if I'm in a room full of athletes and somebody says, Dre, could you introduce yourself in 30 seconds? I'm gonna say, my name is Dre Baldwin. I started playing ball at age 14. I walked on at a D3 school and I played 9 years of pro basketball, period, done. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know about books. They don't need to know about a podcast. Don't need to know how many followers I got on Twitter. They don't need to know any of those things. They can find out, but those are not pertinent to the situation. Again, reading the room, I'm gonna talk about my athletic background when I'm talking to athletes. I'm talking to a room full of authors, and I do some clubhouse rooms with my friend Patricia. She is a author coach, and we do some rooms together talking about different aspects of book marketing, selling, publishing, all those things. In those rooms, I don't really talk about my athletic background. I might touch on it because it's interesting, but really I talk about the books. I say I've written 27 books. I've done some traditionally published. I've done some self-published. I sell my books through doing this method, because those are the things that those people want to hear about. So for you, read the room, understand how you're being perceived, and let people know why you are qualified, or why you believe you're qualified at least, to speak about or offer what you're speaking about or offering. What makes you credible? Take the pieces of your background that matter the most in context and put them on the table. Oftentimes, this will be one or two things. That's pretty much it. And those one or two things don't always have to fit in the same category. It doesn't have to be you did this for this many years, or you achieved this thing, or you won this award. It's just whatever you think is most relevant that makes the most sense for you. And again, this is based on your personality, is based on your approach, the way that you want to put yourself out there to the world. All of those things play a role in it. Somebody might walk into the room and say, I'm the #1 sales trainer in the world. Now, how do you quantify that? How is he even able to say that thing? Again, based on that person's energy, based on their approach, based on maybe what people know about them already, the strength of their brand, based on maybe what was said about them before they even stepped on the stage and picked up a microphone. They might be able to say that, and it's enough. That's good enough. Whereas somebody else who nobody ever heard of them, they might need to kind of enumerate some things that makes people say, okay, now I get it. I never heard of you before, but because of those things you just said, now I'm going to at least give you a shot. I'm going to at least listen to you and hear what you have to say. Again, this is all nuanced based on you understanding how your audience is seeing you, and you understanding what is your best, how do you put yourself in your best light? How do you put yourself in your most comfortable light where you are aligned? There is congruency between the way you present yourself and what you're saying and what people actually believe. When those are all congruent, now you have people's trust, and now you can actually get to the next point. We're not finished with the second point here, though. Again, the topic, once again, is a simple framework for sharing and promoting whatever it is that you're doing. So in this second point, who you are, why you're qualified, you can talk about your experience, what you've learned, what achievements are under your belt, anything that connects your thing, the offering, to the proof that you're somebody who should be talking about. Anything that connects the two. Don't tell your whole life story. Please do not tell your whole life story. Be succinct, be impactful, and respect the concept of brevity. It's mastering your point, making your point without talking too much. 1 to 2 things, maybe 3 things, if you can say them quickly, is all you need. Maybe only 1 if that one thing is strong enough. Point number 3. The topic, once again, is a simple framework for sharing your offering, sharing your products, your services, or just introducing yourself to an audience, or even reintroducing yourself to an audience. Number 3, let people know why they want it. Now, this is one you shouldn't forget about, and this is one that many people often do forget about, or either they forget to share this, or they are not aware that they should be sharing it, or they are so naive as to believe that just because you're there and you're telling people about it, even if you just given a beautiful 3-hour speech and it was all perfect, you said every word excellently, you think other people are just going to beat a path to your door just because you told them that you have something. Let me let all of you know something. I've seen some content online over the years, and I've actually heard a few people say this. It's been a while since I heard anyone say it, so I don't know if they're saying it anymore, but I heard people say things like, sometimes when you have a great product, it's like being a drug dealer, and they draw this metaphor. They say, drug dealers don't advertise, they don't run around yelling at everybody that they have drugs to sell. All they do is stand there, and because people know that they have it, the drug consumers just come and buy from the drug salespeople. And that's the only thing you have to do in business, is let people know that you have it and they'll come find you. All right, this is complete bullshit. That is a lie. It is not true. No matter how great you are, even if everybody knows about you, even if you are standing on a stage and you've been talking for the last 45 minutes, when you have an offer to make to people, you still need to sell them on going and getting the offer. If any of you listen to this show on a regular basis, how often do you hear me telling you? Listen, I have a number where you can text me, 305-384-6894. How often am I telling you you can text me? It doesn't cost you anything to do it. I still have to sell you on the concept of doing it. I still have to sell you to go move your ass, move your fingers, and go do it. You got your phone right there. You don't have to move your ass. You just got to move your hands and do it. And I still got to sell you on it. How many times have I told you about a book? It's free. The Mirror of Motivation. I'm giving you the book for free. I still have to sell you on it, and I still tell you why you want the book. I'm not just telling you go get it because it's free. That'll move some people. It'll move a small percentage of people, but to move more people, I got to give you a reason to go and get that thing. This is the third point. Why does somebody want what you are offering? Just because of the fact that you have it, nobody cares. Nobody cares about what you have. They want to know why they need it. If you're an author and you wrote a book, even if you're giving a book away for free, you still have to give people a reason to want to go get the book. What is the book going to do for me? If somebody has a book that they're giving away for free and they're trying to get me to go get their book, listen, just because of the fact that it's free, I don't give a damn. Listen, I can afford to buy your book. Or if I want it, I'll even pay for it. Why do I want your book? Tell me. It is your job as a salesperson. It is your job as the creator. It is your job as the person making the offer to let me know why I want what you have. So in doing this, here's the framework within the framework, okay? What will your product, service, offering, whatever it is, what is it going to do for me? Telling me what it does is just the thing itself. So for example, I say I got the Mirror of Motivation. What it does is it's a book. What it does is it's a self-guide to self-discipline. That's the thing itself. All right, that's fine, but that's not going to move many people to action. What will move you to action is when I explain to you that many people spend their whole lives working really hard, trying to reach their goals, yet because they never ask themselves a key question, the question being, who do I need to be? Even though they're working really hard, they never reach their goals. So in this book called The Mirror of Motivation, I'm going to show you how to answer the question of who you need to be. So then the doing will automatically flow from the being, and then you'll start getting the results that you want. So if you're a really hard worker, this book is going to be basically the spark that lights the fire. If that sounds like you, I'll give you the book for free. Go to mirrorofmotivation.com. What did I just do? I gave you the why. Now, maybe some of you are like, well, you know what? That still doesn't move me, Dre. Okay, well, the book ain't for you then. All right, the people that the book is for, they're going to mirrorofmotivation.com right now, and they're going to get in that book. What it does is just the thing itself. Why you want it is my job to articulate. And I want to articulate it with brevity. I want to articulate it clearly. I want to make it very simple, and I want to focus on one thing. Even though the book, that actual book that I'm talking about has 60, 70 chapters in it. It's 160 pages. Each chapter is maybe a page or two long. But the whole point is, I'm not going to tell you every single thing that's in the book. It's too many things. I'm going to focus on one thing because you as the consumer, again, you didn't write the book. You don't know every word that's in the book like I do. You're not going to remember 3 things or even 2 things about it. But if I tell you one thing and I just keep telling you that one thing over and over and over again, you will eventually go get it. All right, somebody who's listening to this right now is not going to go get it today. Maybe somebody's listening to it now, you're going to go get it the first time you hear it. Maybe somebody's hearing it for the 10th time. And some of you, you're going to have to hear me talk about it 50 more times before you go get it. And that's all right, because I'll match you. I'll do that 50. All right, 50 days from now, when you heard me talk about it 50 more times, you will go get the book. Hopefully, it's still available for you to get it done. If you get this thing, then this will happen. That is that's the framework I'm giving you as the expert, as a salesperson. That's how you pitch your thing. If you do this, i.e. sign up for my list, go get my book, come to my course, follow me on Twitter, this thing is going to happen. You're going to get this result, this result, this result. If you take my course, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I will teach you this skill, whatever it's going to be. There's a guy named Ramit Sethi. He wrote a book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And that book became a bestseller. One of the reasons that book became a bestseller is a pretty good book inside it when you actually read it. But a lot of people buy books and don't even read them. I forget what I was listening to just recently. Somebody was talking about this, that the majority of books that get purchased, I'm not talking about the books that get published. I'm talking about purchased. About 20% of the book actually gets read. So if every book that people buy, they read on average about 20% of the book. So Ramit's book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich is a bestseller, not because of the quality of the inside of the book, because most people who bought it didn't even read the book. The book is a bestseller because of that title. That's a hell of a title, because the title is giving you the full value proposition in what? I will teach you to be rich. 7 words. You want to develop that skill, and yes, that is a skill. Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is a simple framework for announcing, promoting, and selling your stuff. The last thing you got to tell people is how to go get it. How do they actually get the thing? In other words, what does your prospect or your audience need to do in order to get what you are offering? Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, Dre, oh, well, isn't that common sense, Dre? Isn't that self-explanatory? The answer is hell no. It is not common sense. It is not self-explanatory. People usually use those phrases, common sense and self-explanatory, when they know the thing. Okay, well, just because you know it doesn't make it common sense. It's common sense to you doesn't mean it's common sense to everybody else. And any of you who is a salesperson, any of you who is looking to have influence, you want to be an influencer. And I don't even mean on social media, but you just want to be able to influence other people to action. Understand you have to spell things out for people. That doesn't mean you have to be wordy, but it means you have to spell things out. In other words, I can tell you, I got this book called The Mirror of Motivation. It's a self-guide and self-discipline. That's the first thing. Next thing is my name is Dre Baldwin. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete and now mental toughness coach. I teach people to bulletproof their mindset. That's number 2. Number 3, why you want this book? Because many people work really hard in life without reaching their goals, and it's not because there's anything wrong with them. It's because they never ask themselves who they need to be. This book is going to give you the frameworks to answer that question for yourself. That's why it's called the Mirror of Motivation. It is not me motivating you. It is you answering those questions for you. When you answer the question who you need to be, then your doing will automatically start producing the results that you want in life. Now, that's number 3. And number 4, how do you go get it? Go to mirrorofmotivation.com. There's a form on the page. All you do is put in your information, tell us where to ship the book, cover the shipping, and we will ship that book to you no matter where you live. That is point number 4. How do they get it? You must tell them what to do. Spell it out for them, people. Again, people are not stupid, but they still need to be told what to do. Okay? I'm not saying that people are stupid. I'm just saying that you're a little bit smarter than them. And you know more about your thing than they know about your thing. And anything that you leave out, assume that they're not going to do it. Assume you had a robot following your instructions. Anything you don't tell the robot will not do. I remember when I was in high school, we used to have to take these computer classes. And they were like C+ and C++. Those are the kind of classes we were taking. What that was, it was a certain type of programming language on these. I mean, we're talking in the late 90s here. So these computers that were like the green screen, they weren't even color. They were like Macs. They were desktop Macs. This is before Mac was really doing the laptops and things like that. But these old desktop Macs, and who knows how often they ever clean the keyboards. Now that I'm thinking about being in those computer labs now. But anyway, in those classes, the teacher would have us, we would have to write a certain type of code and have it produce a certain outcome. And the thing that I learned, I was able to intuit in taking those classes, was that computers don't make mistakes. You've never seen computers do not mess up. Computers do not make mistakes. Anytime a computer produces an undesirable result, it is because a human being interfered and messed something up. A computer never ever makes a mistake. Computers only do exactly what they are told. So the reason I'm explaining that is to explain this to you. Anything you do not tell your audience or prospect to do, assume they're a computer and they will not do it. You need to tell people, hey, click this button, sign up here, call this number, send me a text, go to this page and fill out the form. Again, people are not stupid, but they still need to be told what to do. Why? Because they got other things on their mind and none of them have anything to do with you. Remember that people do not know your platform or your website the way that you know it. They don't care about it the way that you care about it. And they're distracted with their own thoughts and ideas. So you must tell them what to do. And here's the surprise that happens when you tell people what to do. They actually go do it. So send me a text at 305-384-6894 and tell me the best insight that you got from today's episode. Again, 305-384-6894. Let's recap today's class, which is a simple framework for promoting your stuff or even announcing and letting people know who you are, what you're doing, and how can they get involved with what you got going on. Since you already have game, I'm assuming, here's how you share it. Number 1, let people know what it is. Why does your product or offer actually matter? What is its use? What is its functionality? In other words, I wrote a book called The Mirror of Motivation, and it is the self-guide to self-discipline. That's it. I have this thing and it blank. It does not need to be any more complicated than that. Keep it simple. Number 2, who are you and why you're qualified to talk about what you talked about. 1 to 3 things about yourself that makes it very simple, very succinct, but also impactful so people understand why you are credible to speak about what you're speaking about. They can find out about your life story when they read your autobiography. Do not give your life story on the second point. Number 3, why would anybody want it? What is it going to do for them? What it does is just the thing itself. Again, I wrote a book. It's called The Mirror of Motivation. They already understand what it does. They understand it's a book, but they still don't know why they need it. So your job is to tell them at this point, and this will probably be the part where you talk the most, but it's still not a lot. Still using brevity, what they're actually going to get. If you do this, you get this. If you do this, you get this. If you read this book, you will now get your being aligned with your doing, which means you will start having the things that you want in life. Simple as that. That is the value proposition here in point number 3. And then number 4, how do they get it? What do they need to actually do in order to actually get the thing that you're offering? All right, if you want to sign up for my course, go to the back of the room and meet me back there. If you want to be part of my program, go over here and go through that door over there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, click the button that says follow. If you want to be on my texting community, send me a text at 305-384-6894. If you want my book for free, go to mirrorofmotivation.com, put your information in the form, and tell us where to ship the book. Tell people what to do. People are not stupid, but you still got to tell them what to do. Why? Because they are distracted and they got other things going on, and none of those other things have anything to do with you. And you'll get a surprise when you tell people what to do. They do it. Now, if you have not yet claimed your free copy of my book, The Mirror of Motivation, which will help you get your being aligned with your doing, which in turn will result in you having what you want to have in life. Trust me, it works. It's proven. We've given away thousands of copies of that book. If you want to be the next one to get that result, all you need to do is go to mirrorofmotivation.com right now. Go claim your free copy of that book and work on your game. Dre, all